Most people quit. Every time they say that they're going to break a bad habit, they get on the path, they start. But 1, 2, 3 days in, around the third day, it just becomes so hard. That temptation, oh my God, I want to scroll social media. I want to eat that food that I know is so bad for me, but I have to have it. I have to have that drink. I have to have that smoke. It becomes such a undescribable pull. And I know you felt it because we all have bad habits, me included. And in this video, I'm going to show you what I did and what I take my clients through. Doesn't matter if your bad habit is eating bad food, watching too much television, or scrolling social media, or something like drug addiction. If you follow these step-by-step methods, you realize that you can break any bad habit like this. It's simple, but it is not easy. It's a warning for you. Let's get right into it. So any bad habit also has a consequence. So watching too much porn, or watching too much Netflix, spending too much time on social media, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, all of these things, they have consequences. They drain us of our, forget about health, and of course there's all those consequences. The consequences to your careers and finances, absolutely, that's 100% true. But the biggest consequence is going to drain you of your energy. It's going to drain you of time. It's going to drain you of your psychic energy, the energy that you can spend to get something done. It's that juice, it's that X factor, it's that emotional energy, right? And when you start chasing these things, and just like watching social media and like getting entertained and things like that, it's energy that you could have used in something that would help you move forward towards what you want to do, your dreams, etc., etc., right? That's the reason why you want to shift the bad habit. So the bad habit has a consequence, but the bad habit also has a positive intention. And here's the most important part. So in order to break a bad habit, there are three things that you have to remember. First and most important thing that you have to do is understand what that positive intention is. What is it that you are avoiding by having this habit? What is it that you're avoiding when you reach out for that drink? What is it that you're avoiding when you reach out for the cheesecake? What is it that you're avoiding when you're scrolling on Instagram? And I'm not talking about knowing what I'm avoiding. Yeah, I'm avoiding anxiety. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, do you know the texture of what you're avoiding? Do you understand that the depth of what you're avoiding? Do you know what it feels like? Do you know what that anxiety feels like? Do you know what that compulsion feels like? Do you know what it is ultimately that you're running away from? Can you feel that fear? Or are you so disconnected from that fear that you don't even acknowledge it, that you don't even know it's there? Maybe somebody, maybe you who's watching this video does not even realize that by doing these things, by watching an Instagram reel when you're bored, you're actually stopping yourself from feeling something that you don't want to feel because it's just so scary. And so one of the best things that you could do next time is that you get the urge to go on Instagram or to watch Netflix, and just to do it because you're feeling compelled to do it. The bad habit is coming back on. Stop for a second. And before you do anything for 5, 10, 15 minutes, sit and just feel what happens when you don't give in. What is it that you are avoiding? What is it that you're running away from? There is such nuanced, vital information. This is the juice. This is the most important thing, because this tells you what you're running away from. This tells you what your greatest fear is right now, that you're unable to handle by yourself. And so you reach out for these things that can distract you. So, what is it that you're running away from? That's such a crucial part. And that's the first part of breaking any bad habit. The second thing is realizing that the only way that you can break the bad habit is not by putting a good habit. People say, oh, you can change your habits, and you can change your habits. I'm not saying that you can't change your habits, but it's difficult. It is really, really, really difficult to change your habits if you don't change who you are as a person, if you don't grow as a person. There's a lot of literature, a lot of books, a lot of self-help books that talk about habit change. And most of them are garbage. Most of them don't work. They work for little things, but for big changes, they do not work. And what I mean by that is, if you do not face that fear, right, that fear that has come, or that negative emotion, that thing that lies in the void for you, when you sit there having that urge to scroll but don't scroll, and you're just sitting there, you're doing nothing, you have no form of distraction, whatever that arises from that void, that's what I'm talking about. Do you have the ability to sit with that, not to overcome that fear, but to somehow own that fear, to see what's really beneath that? And that is what I call the second part of breaking a bad habit, because instead of breaking the bad habit by installing a new behavior, the best way that you can break any bad habit is by installing a new identity. And you install a new identity by growing as a person. And the fastest way to grow as a person is by facing the very thing that makes you feel uncomfortable. And that is tough to do. I completely agree. And this is why most people quit. On day 3, when that urge comes up and you really, really, really want to smoke, or really, really, really want to get out of your diet, or you want to break your streak, and you want to give in to the bad habit, this is why. It's because it is too scary, too goddamn uncomfortable to face that thing, to grow out of who you are right now, that thing that you are scared of. And so now the question you have to ask yourself is, how do I actually grow? How do I sit with this uncomfortable feeling, this thing that I am afraid of, at a subconscious level, this thing that I avoid at all costs, this thing which I destroy my career, destroy my body, destroy my relationships for? How do I face that? And that's where we come to point number 3. The third thing when it comes to breaking any bad habit is, how do you resolve the unfinished business? The unfinished business is what is causing you to be afraid of that thing that you are afraid of, right? It's that thing that is preventing you from breaking the bad habit. It's that thing that your bad habit is protecting you from, because that thing is so uncomfortable that you can't face it. And so the bad habit masks it, it protects you. And so if you want to break the bad habit, you have to finish the unfinished business. And the only way to finish the unfinished business is to go back to that business, but this time you have the support and the resources that you require in order to finish that business, in order to actually see it through. So if you're somebody who doesn't like feeling weak, or doesn't like feeling vulnerable, and because of that, you don't allow yourself to feel your emotions, right? You don't allow yourself to connect with other people. You don't open yourself up. You don't trust very easily. Well, then in that situation, the very feeling that makes you cringe, that feeling of, oh my God, am I really that weak? That I'm afraid, that I'm grieving, that I'm feeling this way? Oh, that You know that feeling that I'm talking about? That feeling that you just want to avoid, that discomfort. It's meeting that feeling, but you're meeting that feeling with the resources and the support that you need in order for you to overcome that problem, that feeling. So, an example of this would be realizing that true strength is not about not having weaknesses and vulnerability. True strength comes from being strong enough to be open about being vulnerable. It's about bringing that vulnerability to your relationships, not hiding it, being honest about it, because that is where true strength actually lies. It's funny, if you're somebody who wants to become emotionally strong and you hide your weaknesses, or you hide your vulnerabilities, and you come across as this, "Oh, I'm this strong person." Funny thing is, you're not strong at all, because people can see that you're not being you, you're not being real. And that very facade, that mask of being strong, is what's preventing you from accessing true strength. Here's the thing: in order for you to access true strength, you need to go back to that situation that makes you feel weak. But as long as you have the resources and the support to be able to go through that without withdrawing, maintaining contact, right? Maintaining touch, like sticking with it, with those resources, with that support. And that support could be anything. It could be a friend, it could be a belief system, it could be a group of people, it could be just somebody looking into your eyes and letting you know that, listen, you matter, you are enough, your feelings matter, you belong, you are valuable. Just hearing those simple messages, which, a lot of us didn't get to hear when we were kids. This is pretty difficult, right? It's really profound to get. It's difficult in these. Who has the time, right, to give anybody this kind of support? The truth is that, if you're somebody who is willing or wanting to actually overcome one of the habits, one of the bad habits that you have, and create a transformation for yourself in 2026, then what I suggest you do is, there's a link in the description below, and that link will take you to a powerful assessment. This assessment will tell you exactly what the wound is, what the loop is, that what the program is that you're running. And what it'll also tell you to do after that is, it'll show you, in order, not only will it show you your program, but it'll also show you what you need to do, right? What resources you might need, what kind of support that you might need in order to actually see the process through, right? To create that identity level shift, not a behavior shift, because behaviors, they come today, they're gone tomorrow if the identity remains the same. So we want to change at the identity level. And when you change at the identity level, everything else shifts. And that is what this assessment helps you do. It helps you assess where your identity is today, and then what do you need to do in order to grow, what kind of support you need, what kind of resources you may require. And then there's more things that you can do after that if you want help with getting that kind of support and getting those kind of resources. So I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have a question you want to ask me, put in the comments as well. This is Jay. This video has been really fun to shoot. See you. Take care.